Yo, dog, Kenny Boucher here, next level painting, hitting you up on the literal best of all days, coming to you live from the Beats Lab in Hollywood, California. We're doing it again. And I say live because we're doing a new format for our West Coast Guerrilla Battle Reports inside the mind of a tournament gamer. We are, in fact, working a little bit of that sweet OBS software style. I'm going to try to incorporate some of that new tactic love to our semi-reoccurring segment known as Inside the Mind of a Tournament Gamer. So let's try to get this thing started. Now, big shout out to all my Patreons. We actually rolled out a new tactics tier with a secret Facebook group with weekly live streaming and list doctoring. This is sort of in line with that. Now, this is available to all of our patrons, all of our YouTubers. But we got new fresh content on the horizon. So let's just jump right into it. So first things first, guys, we're going to talk about the list right here. So this is the list I recently took to my locals here in Hollywood at Next Gen Games and Comics. We play 1,500 points. So this is sort of an aggressive list, as you can see here. Renegade Knights with Iron Warriors. Only 8 CP. Okay, that's fine. It gets everything done we need. So the linchpin of this list is obviously these two Billy Badasses right here. These guys are absolute gangsters. Now, the only reason this list works is because in the Iron Warriors, we have chosen Cold and Bitter. This is a warlord trait that gives you a 6-inch fearless bubble so that these 95 cultists right here can survive. So obviously they're going to set up on the gun line. They're going to be fearless. You're going to have to interact with them. We're going to get some reroll ones here from the Lord, but mainly we're unlocking a battalion. The other secret sauce, obviously, is going to be Warp Time, Weaver of Fates. We're going to be able to make one of these cultist squads have a 5-up invulnerable, but also going to be able to double move them, take over the board, get into people's grills. This is not too dissimilar from a previous list we played. What makes this list unique is that we're running double Imperial Knights at 1,500 points with those Gatling cannons. Now, there are a lot of takeaways from this event. Spoiler alert, I lose one game, and I do struggle in another game. Reconfirming my my suspicions from previous playtests that 2 Renegade Knights is too many, no matter what the point format is. We don't have enough stratagems backing us. We don't have enough warlord traits, relics. 1 is a great distraction. 2 becomes the theme of your army, and it gets hard to accomplish tasks. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this live retelling of our games. Bear with me. There we go. All right, guys. Game 1 all day, every day. We're actually going up against Imperial Knights. Now you can see that I'm set up on the gun line. My man Jordy, he's a solid competitor here in the local scene. 3 Knights. With all the Imperial stratagems, everyone's a character. Everyone's got relics. They all got sick warlord traits. They got iron bulwarks and +1 to hit people and super Gatling cannons. And this is a tactical deck format. Right out the gate, he gets a good draw, advance, and grab some objectives. That's exactly what he needs with only 3 models versus me. Going second, it kind of hurts because he's going to be able to really focus fire on my knights, my only real threats to his entire army. And he does. He takes over a knight real quick. I'm going to step off the gun line. I'm going to try to take out at least one of his lights with what I have. Now you can see over here what we have going on is this knight snuck out of this deployment zone. He already killed one. He had all the thermal cannons in the world to do it. We're going to step out here. We're going to get this knight hiding back here. And then we're going to charge it. We're hoping with the 24 shots, the full rerolls from our stratagem, and then the additional 12 attacks in close combat that we can get lucky, finish one knight off. That would make this entire game so much easier if we can pull it off, right? So let's keep it going to see what happens. All right. Thug life, get the shots off, keep the blob squads moving, stay fearless, get objectives. I made it to combat, jacked him up, did not kill him. Spoiler. He lives, which means he's going to fall back out of combat and I'm going to lose my knight. It's not going to be very hard for him. And I'm losing cultists. He's, making sure to put all the little guns on my cultists, put all the big guns on the knight to be as efficient as he can. I'm going to start losing guys at a really fast rate. Luckily, I got tricks up the sleeves for this list. Like we talked about, without Cold and Bitter Warlord trait, this list wouldn't work. They maintain their fearless bubble. We have Cast Weaver of Fates on that front line, and this is when it gets silly right here. So I lost that knight, and I tied of traitors that first squad. See right here? We're going to pause it. What we actually did here was we pulled this row of cultists that were surviving more firepower than any cultist squad should have a right to because of Weaver of Fates. They were Zinch. They got granted at 5 up and vulnerable. When I was down to just a few models, what I did was I tied up traitors, which lets me remove them, redeploy them on any board edge 6 inches. So I actually chose my board edge. Okay, so we came on 6 inches this direction, pulled back my sorcerer, right? We did a warp time because they actually started on the table already. So like even though we're coming on from the board edge, it does say in the beta that if you started the turn already on the table, you could do these psychic shenanigans. So then we were able to warp time them, move them up again, get them much closer, reform the circle, send another unit of cultists up to distract them. Meanwhile, we're staying amorphous. We got a little pocket 15-man squad taking an objective over here. There's objectives over here we've been snagging. We're just playing our cards. We're getting supremacy. We're getting D3 extra points. We're defending objectives for 2 turns, getting 2 points because we can do that. We have a pocket warp time and we can take over the table. So basically, you realize now at this point, I have no ability to actually kill a knight. So I just got to win with points. So we keep moving, we keep locking knights into positions, pushing them. We're actually not charging a lot of knights. We're just creating little bubbles, little pockets, making it so he can't cross the line, right? There it is. That's the final. I'll pull it out. 2 points. Man, Jordy coming in clutch. That's how you win a game of 40K without killing a single model in your opponent's army. Off to round 2, obviously. So in turn 2, this is going to be the tough one. This is my boy Alan. He's one of the sickest competitors in the scene, my playtest buddy. He's playing the amalgamation of some of the best units in the game, okay? Now, if you take a look at this deployment, I was able to choose deployment. I choose the Spearhead because I already know innately it's better for this fight. But you can see here he's got Astra Militarum. Okay, let's pause it right there. He's got almost the best. He's got a 1,500 point version of some of the best, basically the best list in 40K. Instead of a Knight, he has a very point-efficient Leviathan. It's Ultramarine. He's got 2 Dev squads chilling right here in the cut. Taguris chilling right here. He's got the Supreme Command with the 3 Shield Captains, Codex AM, a bunch of bodies, Grand Strategist, Mortars hiding, all the works. He's got CP farming. He's got sick character abuse, and instead of a Dominus, the very underestimated Ultramarine Leviathan. The Ultramarine Leviathan is ridiculous. 20 shots, strength 7, -2, 2 damage. That's amazing. And it hits on 2s. It's going to be rerolling 1s. Toughness 8, 2-up save. So even though it's only like 14 wounds, half as many wounds as a knight, it's got a 2-up, 4-up all day, every day. So it basically takes twice as much firepower to interact with that. So therefore, just as survivable, but it gets better. Tigurius is going to make him -1 to hit for free and cast Mighty Hero. So he's toughness 9. Suddenly, this like 300 and something point model is as deadly as any knight, especially at the 1,500 point level. So he's got all the tools that the most successful armies at Nova have been implementing all weekend. All right, so let's keep this party going. I actually get to go first for the first time. So I'm going to pick on his Devastator squads because that's the best thing he has to interact with my knights. But here's the issue. I didn't roll so good. He was able to make some clutch cover saves. So it actually took all the weight of my firepower to not kill them all. So he still had a couple pocket last cannons. And he rolled good with his last cannon's damage. He really hurt one of my knights bad. He started really hurting cultists. The bikers move up into the cut to start harassing things immediately. Tigurius is getting in positions. Now, me and Alan are always going to play a tight game. Now, if you take a look at these bike captains, here's one of the major issues. These bike captains with their 12 Hurricane Bolters shots are basically each constantly shooting at cultists and then trying to engage a knight. So these dudes are good for like 2/3 of a casualties in a cultist squad if they roll decent. So this is a big problem. This is as big of a problem as Leviathan for dealing with my cultists. Not getting the luck to fall my way when I first targeted those Devastator squads really crippled me for later turns of the game because he was able to do more faster. And like I said, Alan is an amazing competitor. We play a lot of games together. We're scoring points. We're constantly getting our points. It's neck and neck the entire game. I'm putting models where they need to be, warp timing, pulling shenanigans, pulling back. Actually kill one of these shield captains to get a card, kill something in close combat. I eventually tied a traders in his backfield, clear his mortars out, which was a big deal going into the late game. But now I'm going to have to deal with the fury of no Fearless Bubble and a Leviathan Dreadnought right there doing 20 shots. That's a big problem. You can see now he's making some of his endgame moves, trying to snipe out a character with some psychic powers. I'm just trying to score. He's scoring. Leviathan is uninteractable at this point. Can't mess with it. Here's the last flop right here. Got to get these objectives. Make some plays. In the last turn, I do flub a couple of crucial rolls. Okay, and here he is. We tied it out, actually, so let's talk about it for 1 second. Last turn, I had an 8-inch charge, which could have gone either way, but a 4-inch charge that I failed, which actually would have given me the extra point I needed. So we tied on tactical points, and he won on tiebreakers, which is power level, because he basically wiped me out. He crushed me. But if I had gotten that last charge, I would have pulled that last point out, taking home the bacon. But that's as tight of a game of 40K as I've played at locals in a long time. We've got a good group of competitors. We've been working the scene for about 14 months now. Get 20 people a month. Congratulations to Alan. Just giving me my first loss on West Coast Battle Reports. Let's keep the party going, though. Game 3, Dark Eldar. This is the game that changed my life versus Daryl. Same deal. Set up on the gun line. I'm on a table that we were in round 1. We set up on the gun line. He's got his Forge World Raiders. He's got regular Raiders. He's got Talos set up. He has something that changed my life forever. Here it is. Let's take a look at that beautiful squad of Grotesques. Classic Grotesque star, 10 of them. Urian, another Homunculus. They've got toughness 6, strength 6. That unit is very hard to deal with. Prophets of Flesh, 4 up invulnerable. He's got fast, darty units with solid tank busting. He is absolutely going to go first here. And he's going to start working one of my knights over, putting a substantial amount of damage on it with those Dark Lance shots from the D6 Tantalus, I think is what the Forge World unit's called, or something. I don't know. But you see, it's much of the same. We're creating a gun line. We're being amorphous. We're taking objectives. We're trying to find targets of opportunity because these Gatling cannons are actually really good at interacting. And take a look at this line right here. I want to show this off for a second. So what I did here was move up, advance, warp time, and create this huge semicircle around the table. Basically, we pre-measured it. He would need a pretty big charge to make this work. We're taking actually one objective over here, one objective over here. We've got a third one back here. So we're going to be able to place Supremacy really early, which is holding 3 objectives, D3 points. So we actually get a clutch 3 off of that. So that's a big deal. We're bracing for the charge in case he makes it. We've already cast Weaver of Fates on these guys, so they have a 5 up invulnerable. So even with their 50 attacks, it's going to be basically impossible for him to kill all of them. And then we're going to try to tie the traders out. But linchpin of his army is Agents of Vex. He can cancel that stratagem. So we're going to have to be clever with our casualty removal here if this charge goes off. So moving up, taking over the objectives. We have an amazing turn here. We're able to focus fire down, blast a couple things. Another thing to note that the other cards I drew were kill something in the shooting phase, kill something, period. If you can kill 3 things in the shooting phase, D3, kill 3 things, D3. I actually scored another 2 D3 off that turn. He makes it. He crashes into my line. He's going to do his worst. He's going to crush a bunch of dudes out. I'm going to stall out a turn. I've bled off enough Agents of Vex that I was able to scoot out of that combat. He was down to his last 3. He didn't get enough back through CP regeneration to cancel me, but he did stop a lot of my best powers. He stopped me from using Tide of Traders once already, from full rerolls on Knights. He stopped me from Veterans of the Long War. But what I was able to do was able to take out all his small, fast-moving stuff to get on the objectives, force his Grotesques into a combat with me at the very end of the game, not at the beginning, through careful blocking of this unit. Then casualty removal, I was able to get both knights in here on opposite sides, so he could never devote all of his attacks. He was able to kill one knight, which was limping on, but there's no way in the number of turns we have left that this amazing squad, even with how many attacks it has less, will actually be able to kill this knight because they only do 1 damage. So now I know these grots can't scoop me up. They can't table me. They can't kill this knight, because I was able to focus fire and everything, protect my neck through bubble wraps, and now he could just have this knight and play with it for the rest of the game. And there it is, actually a crushing victory for Chaos, 15-5. So I just want to talk about it for 1 second. The theme of the army has remained the same. Board control, big blocks of dudes that can be on more than one objective, especially in a progressive objective environment. It's really powerful. Having psychic powers to support that movement. Having warlord traits to make you fearless so you can save CPs for important stratagems like Titan Traders, like full rerolls on your knights was very important here. We were able to beat knights by the skin of our teeth. We were able to crush the Dark Eldar, and we lost to the Imperial Master Army, played by my man Alan. The big takeaways here are, like I said, that the theme of the army is 2 Renegade Knights. It's not a good theme. We need other things to mix it up. We're too invested in our bubble wraps, not enough invested in diverse elements of the game. Like, we have no strong characters that can hide behind dudes and then jump out. We don't have that, even though we can have that. We've done it before with Demon Princes. 1 knight is a great distraction. I would never go more than 1 knight for Chaos. Armigers are a better solution, but even then, I think I'd rather have obliterators to drop in over in the backfield, take you out, have a couple Demon Princes sneak up behind the line, jump the line, fuck things up in a pinch. Far better. It was very fun, however, to play with our 2 knights that we put all this time, all this energy into playing. Big takeaway, Dark Eldar, Grotesques are my new shit, and my Talos is my kindred spirit. I love, even though I brutalized that army, the style in that army speaks to me. It's like my old 7th edition Spawn Tide. I am in the Beats Lab right now working on my own version of it. Talking with Sean Naden, the captain of the American ETC team, the reigning champions. We actually just dropped a mini podcast on Patreon for the $25 and above tier, which is our tactics tier. A 1 hour, 15-minute talk going deep into the list that we're working on together. I'm going to be contracting people in the community to help me paint it because I'm going to be commissioning this. I'm not going to have time to actually paint it myself. Big takeaway. Love that style. Imperial Knights are an issue. If you can't kill them, you're probably going to lose if you don't have 100 bodies that are fearless and 40 of them come back to life. So that's a big concern. Because that meta is actually one based on popularity and ease. Because it's much easier to create 3 knights than anything else. They're really strong. I wouldn't necessarily say OP, but if you can't kill them and you can't survive, you can't win. Jordy went on to win his next 2 games handedly, right? The Grotesque Star was doing really good that weekend. Alan actually won the tournament. These are all really solid armies. So I guess what I'm saying is balance out the theme a little bit more. Having board control is important, but having units that can kill tanks is important, and having units to distract people off of your sensitive parts is important. This army did not have all of those elements that I normally like to play. Looking forward to the next installment of West Coast Battle Reports. I'm going to be bringing something a little bit more suited to the format. We're going to play the format way harder next time. Anyway, guys, play on, players.